Hi, welcome to International Negotiation and the Environment today. We are going to be learning about doing business in Brazil, and we have a guest coming up today. Her name is Bruna Lobato, and she'll be talking about doing business in her country. Let's welcome her. Hi, Bruna.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm great, and you?
Great. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
I would like to first ask just maybe a little bit about your country. If you could briefly describe the culture of Brazil and how it pertains maybe in comparison to the international community.
I would say that the Brazilian culture is not so different from the American culture in many ways. Of course, there are many differences. In general, I would say that people are very close to their traditions. So if we had a celebration like Thanksgiving, which we don't, but if there's something like that, there would not only be a family thing, but a community thing, because since they have it in every house, why not do it together? So we have like parties in the streets and this kind of thing. Yeah, and people are very welcoming. So like if you go into a store, everyone will be like, hey, how are you doing today? And they'll start telling you something about their personal lives, you know. And you will see this reflected in everything they do. So when you meet someone, you first met them, they'll kiss you and hug you. And yeah.
What's the proper greeting for first meeting someone like in a business setting? Would you still do the kissing?
If it is very formal, like everyone wearing ties, very businessy, you would just shake hands. But if it is business, but it's still slightly informal, you would do the kissing. If it's women, though, which is kind of sexist, but if it is men and women, or among women, you would do the kissing. Some women, if they're in position of very like hierarchy, they're really high up, or very professional, they would not want this, though. So you could shake hands.
Awesome. That actually brings me right into my next question, which is, how would you describe the power in like the power dimension in Brazil? Like, are women looked as lower in the business world? Men have more status? How would you describe that?
I would say that it is more common, definitely, to find men in positions of power, as in most countries, actually. But I would not say that women are looked down. I think people do recognize their values, and there are many women out there doing brilliant things in Brazil. Our president is a woman. I guess that tells a lot about the kind of environment we have. Yeah, I myself, like in educational setting, and in places where I worked, I've never felt like people treated me differently, but there's still some people who have some hostility towards women, so including towards our president. Some people, including one of our former presidents, has said that she didn't do a good job because she was a woman. But I would say that in general, those are exceptions.
Good. And then also, would you say that there's a clear division between work, like the life that you present yourself at work, and home life, like the private sector?
There is a division, of course, but I wouldn't say it's that strong. I mean, people are really open. Again, they like making jokes, so they're kind of flirtatious, I guess. That's so people are really open. As long as you're a professional, I mean, you won't disclose everything about your personal life, like your family and everything, and you respect others. You should be able to be really open to people and share things you have or things that are happening at home, which I think is very good. Sometimes you'll be really tired, and people will be like, oh, are you okay? Oh, yeah, I'm tired, you know, this happened this morning. And they'll be like, oh, okay, it's nice, and then we will work together and talk about it. So I think that helps in the work environment. But, yeah, that's about it. But there is some separation, of course.
So would you say in a negotiation, if a foreigner came to negotiate a musician coming into like a new company, and that company wanted to take them out to dinner, is that appropriate in Brazilian culture? Like, because they have that like celebratory, like the unclear division, so they can celebrate with the company.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something very common actually. So, for example, on December, a week before Christmas, the company will get together and have like a dinner, or they will have a party in the office. That's definitely something people do all the time. Lots of like lunch meetings and dinner meetings as well. And sometimes, like, depending on the company, people wouldn't even dress, like, business-like. They would go
perfect.
in a really relaxed way. Casual, since they're going, like, to a lunch meeting. I've had lunch meetings before at work and stuff, and it happens all the time. And sometimes, actually, if it's someone's birthday, we'll go out for lunch, like, everyone together. So, yeah, that happens a lot. And something really cool, like, if the company doesn't want to have a birthday party, everyone would donate, like, $2, and, like, we would buy cake. And, yeah, so it's very informal. Very informal.
Awesome. And then how would you describe Brazil in terms of, like, the society? Individualistic or collectivist?
Well, Brazil's a huge country.
Yeah, it's almost the size of the United States of America.
Yeah, if we don't count Alaska and Hawaii, Brazil's actually bigger. So very big. And I mean, there's a countryside, there are like huge cities like São Paulo, millions and millions of people. My city, for the Brazilian standard, is considered very small, but we actually have over 1 million people.
And you live in Natal.
Natal, which is right here.
Right on the coast.
Right in the coast. Yeah. So, in my city, because it's so small, only 1 million people, there's this collectivity, and people do say, oh, it is like as if we're such a small province, everyone knows each other, so informal. I guess it's not like we live in a small farm, everyone right next to each other, it's a big city still, but it is very different when there's like 1 billion people living right next to you, you know. But I've heard from friends and everything that in bigger cities like São Paulo, people are a little bit more individualistic for the kind of lifestyle they have to, like thousands of people in the subway every day, and you need to focus on your busy life, and so many people walking around like New York City type of thing. But yeah, so that definitely changes. I would say that in general, people are still way more collective, and they have this communal thing than here.
Yeah.
A lot more. And I feel like people here like, oh, mind your own business. And in Brazil, someone's truth is everyone's business. So, yeah, very different.
According to the Gert Hofstede cultural studies that he has done, the individualism dimension for Brazil is only 38%. So I think, like what you were saying about like the collectivists in the smaller areas is definitely proven in like studies. So, thank you. In terms of relationships, when you're doing a negotiation, would relationships be like a high priority, trying to maintain that so it would be more collaborative negotiation, or would you try to tend towards to be like aggressive and competitive, like win as much as you can?
I would definitely say be friendly. If you're friends with that person, everything will work out, and that's something I've seen so many times. Like, it happens all the time. My mom is kind of a businesswoman, so I see in my own home, you know, my family, the way they do business, and the way they do is definitely being friendly. And people would be like, oh, can I take you out to a drink or something? And they would go out for a drink with their boss and do the negotiation and everything. So that's the most successful way of doing it. Or even sometimes, that's definitely something I've heard, I know it happens a lot, I'll take you out to a barbecue at my home over the weekend, you know, if you're coming from a different city or a different country, we'd like to introduce you to something new. So, yeah, people are really open. So if you're too competitive, people can not do the negotiation with you or anything for a pride thing, or because they think this other person doesn't value their work enough, and things like that. So I think that being friendly is a really good tool, making people empathize with your goals and everything.
Awesome. And then just a quick thing, maybe if you can walk us through the proper greeting for a foreigner coming to Brazil. How would you greet, and then how would you say goodbye after the negotiations happened?
Okay, definitely.
And now we're going to hear from Bruna on the proper greeting. It's going to be demonstrated as she walks into a business setting. Oi!
Oi, tudo bem?
Tudo bem!
Hey! So usually among men, they would just shake hands, really nice grip. If it's too loose, they don't consider it appropriate or not good. Usually, women would shake hands same way, or they would be like, hi, tudo bem? The same thing. when you're saying goodbye, it's really nice if you could show a little bit more intimacy than you did previously because you've met this person already.
You've already made the agreement, the contract has been signed, you guys are friendlier.
Yes. So, among men, that would be like some nice pat in the back, like, yeah, really nice to meet you. And among women, it would be like, yeah, really great to meet you. And a little bit more delicate also so that you are not invasive or anything. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Bruna.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now we've learned some more things about Brazilian culture, and I hope you can take away what you have learned today. Thank you.